CANDLEJACK Book 1, Chapter 3, Lord Nordellan. Lord Nordellan, the eldest and wisest of Pimra eagles and head of Consul, had seen much throughout his long life. Nordellan, along with Lord Dramer, are the only known Pimras in existence just before the great conflict annihilated the archipelagos where most of the Pimra lived. Nordellan, though, always holds out the hope that other Pimra could still be found living on other distant islands. His younger years spanned long before the age of Orax, when the inhabitants of those islands were just coming into being with different cultures. The great conflict, though, changed all that. While some cultures flourished or spread to adjacent or other islands, others began wars with those who were already inhabitants of those islands. It was then that Lord Nordellan decided to build a foundation, a consul containing a mix of different cultures from those lands. The consul would oversee the problems within those islands that would warrant the need of diplomatic intervention. The consul helped to promote a common people working for a common bond for all, though at times the monarchies and inhabitants' resistance to compromise made it difficult to pursue a peaceful resolution, especially those lands that held ancient cultures, rituals, and secrets long before the age of Orax. Nordellan was not unfamiliar with such cultures, for he had little doubt of the existence of spiritual beings or guardians of such lands having magical connotations, coexisting with other lands, incurring a fragmented past as one land. One land before the volcanic activity in the oceans had divided it into archipelagos of diverse cultures spread far and wide. One island in particular, the island of Hebrug, being of mysterious origins as well as one of the largest archipelagos known. Escape Aftermath. The royal coach arrived at the prison hold of the castle Grimoire, carrying Signor Nordellan, King Oracan, and Cardinal Rigor Mortis a day after the prison break. A messenger had been sent to Yarrow by Captain Trelane to inform Consul and King Oracan of the escaped prisoner. Once inside the captain's hold at Grimoire, worry began showing across both Nordellan's and Oracan's brow. They'd been discussing the breach with the castle's current captain. Trelane, a white-feathered Priocthorian hawk, led as captain of the guard at Grimoire. Trelane was currently in charge of a small group of elite guards sent as protection for Castle Grimoire by the consul. Your Majesty and your Eminences, I can't understand how it could have happened. I had at least 3 tour of guard on that watch, seeing over Jardouche, Trelane pleaded. The Cardinal interjected, Lord Nordellan, I understood that there was extra protection in place in case of escape. An enchantment by the amulet placed on the wall outside his prison door would destroy Jardouche, if not finish him off, if he even thought of escaping out that very door. Put there by the consul, I do believe, and by will of his Majesty, as an extra deterrent in case Jardouche attempted to escape by himself or with help from his minions. Indeed it was, your Eminence and your Majesty, answered Nordellan. But the protection was missing as well as the prison door. I fear something far much worse than just Jardouche's disappearance. The only way that the protection could leave that wall is if the amulet is missing as well. But wasn't Signor Dramer holding the amulet last for his research into its origins? Inquired the Cardinal. Yes, continued Nordellan, but Dramer was to return the amulet back to his Majesty before the consul departs Ornathus. Before he left, Dramer related to me that he had received a parchment from a cleric by the name of Count LeMay, instructing Dramer to leave the consul immediately. Dramer was to return to Port Sacre-Cœur to meet with the cleric LeMay on the cleric's possible expulsion as the Count of Duchantel Monastery. LeMay was desperate for Dramer's mediation to stop the suzerain's attempt on LeMay's position at the monastery. Did Dramer mention who wanted LeMay removed from Duchantel Monastery? Oracan asked. No, he did not mention who. As a member of Consul, Dramer has the authority as a mediator on Sacre-Cœur. Sometime before joining the consul, Dramer lived at Port Sacre-Cœur, and he told me LeMay was an old friend of his. However, in retrieving his personal coach to return to Sacre-Cœur, Dramer was told his carriage had gone missing by Belknap, the elite guard scout and head squire of the stables, under command of Lieutenant Berwick. Belknap related to Dramer and Lieutenant Berwick that a pack of wandering thieves had stolen the coach Dramer arrived in. Fortunately, inside Dramer's coach contained the wardrobe that His Majesty's amulet was stored in. Belknap then retrieved another coach for Dreamer to leave immediately for Satrichlor, while Belknap himself rode off in search of Dreamer's missing coach per Lieutenant Berwick's orders. So far it's been a day and neither Belknap nor the stolen carriage have returned. King Orakan then spoke soberly. It seems the fault lies within my power to all what has happened here. I trust Lord Nordellan and his eminence will see that Belknap and the amulet's return is what's keeping a possible outbreak of war at bay if the amulet has fallen into the wrong hands. There are so many obstacles right now for me to handle between the Gryphons, the Gargoyles, the Igoths, Lee of Stone, that Igoth's people need an entire island in order to prevent a travesty of shared fiefs within the kingdoms. I take it Lord Celis as well has his hands quite full, Nordellan, with Dramer's absence from the council. If it please your majesty, that it is still possible for Signor Dramer to return for the completion of the negotiations, if not for Lieutenant Berwick's tribunal hearing, per the ruling of the consul on the disappearance of the amulet. I also know that Signor Celis, who is meeting with Lieutenant Berwick at the moment on the matter of retrieving the lost carriage, will have his legislative on the fief lay of both kingdoms during the next consul. Nordellan spoke to Orakan. Celis had mentioned that to me prior to meeting with the lieutenant. I, too, as well would be curious of what Lord Celis proposes, for your majesty and my lord, for my enumeration is already in discussion with the consul, slightly berated the cardinal. Nordellan then turned to the cardinal. Then, your eminence, if I may inquire, Nordellan interrupted, would Lieutenant Berwick's probable tribunal by the consul, being as he is your brother, in any way affect your decision on these proceedings with Yarrow and Tyrol? My dear Signor Nordellan, Rigor Mortis chided, my brother had no choice in the matter of his possible treason to his majesty. The kingdoms and the consul, with Belknap's absence, along with the disappearance of Lord Dramar's coach, his responsibilities to the kingdom come first, since General Dalon and Lieutenant Kylos are currently at sea to find a missing elite guard per your majesty's directive. The outcome of what my brother and Belknap could be facing with misplacement of Signor Dramar's possessions, including his majesty's amulet, lies with the decision of consul. It is irrelevant and inconsequential of my brother's circumstances to my decision for the consul with Girthwood and both kingdoms Lee of Stone on the table. Besides, I'm sure surreptitious warrior brother is quite capable of handling whatever comes at him, however difficult it may be for him. Yes, as the cardinal grinned an evil smile.